Welcome to Personal with Finance. Today I'm excited to share with you a model that I created that I will guarantee will increase your odds for financial success. So let's get started. So when it comes to your personal finance, have you ever asked yourself the question, how do I make myself more and more valuable each day or each month or each quarter or each year? How am I bettering position myself in my career or my future career? How am I making myself better overall with my finances, my decision making? How am I doing all of that, right? So if you ask yourself those questions, that means you're really sharp, and this is a video for you because these are the questions I ask myself as well too. And I'll share with you the answers that I've come up with. And so starting off in my career, and this what inspires me to come up with this model to explain to you how can you clearly increase your odds for financial success through knowledge and habit stacking is that so when I first started in this industry, I didn't really know where I would end up, but I do know for sure that I need to get financial education. So when I was a college student, I guess I was learning about business and finance, and because I was a business major and I was in the College of Business, but I just needed more. I realized I'm someone who I need to put the odds more in my favor because I don't think I'm the best looking, the best, or nowadays I think I do, I'm just kidding. But like the most charming, like I'm the best speaker, I have the best resume, I have the best test score, I just don't have those things. So I have to figure out ways for me to be more valuable. And so what I did was I got involved in the financial services industry so I can get education. So beyond just going to school and getting good grades, I wanted to get licenses, I wanted to get credentials, I wanted to acquire more knowledge that I can really take in and apply right away. So I can increase my odds, so I can be more familiar with the subject of finance and just being, back then all I know was just, it's all about being rich. Now I realize there's a big difference between someone who's rich and someone who's wealthy. And we have other models that covers that. And so that was it. So I started with that, and so I started stacking my knowledge. I got my insurance license in 2005. That's when I started my career. I got my securities license so I can do investments. And then I started learning about real estate appraisal. I started learning about all of these financial products and learning about the idea of personal finance, about what are our responsibilities? What are the things we need to do to build our wealth, to be in control of our finances? And so that was the start of my very first knowledge stack. And then over that, I just compounded with a lot more education and experiences too. And just along the way, picking up good habits as well too, of always making sure that when I make money, the first thing I do is I save, I bank as much money as possible, and then I think about spending. Because spending was wasteful, it was I had to prioritize myself being, the very best investment is myself. And I want to make sure that I'm as valuable as possible. So how do I do that? It's reinvesting in myself by stacking knowledge, experience, and a lot more knowledge on top of knowledge, and experience on top of more experience. And so that's how I end up with, you look at me today, more than 15 years into my field into my career as a financial advisor. I have all these registrations and licenses because it's just through my habit of learning and bettering myself, because I have to be. If I care about my clients and I care about my career as well too, I have to be better all the time. And so, because my clients rely on me to be a resource for them, they look to me to look at their finances and help them give them a more well-rounded, different perspective so they can make better decision making, right? So they can make better financial decisions. Similar to what this channel is about empowering you to think differently about your personal finances. And that's really important, is that the more experience you have and the more diverse experience you have, the more knowledge, the more education, you're just better, right? You can bring a lot more to the table because you can see it from multiple perspectives, you can see it from different disciplines. And that's what's important, for my story, to put it simply, and it's got me to where I am today, and I continue to learn and stack, knowledge on top of new knowledge that I'm acquiring, and just building on good habits. And again, show me someone who is successful and see if that person, do they have good habits? Yes. Do they have good knowledge? Do they have good expertise? It's true and true. So for this model that I put together, it's the same thing. And so for the model for your own financial success, you got to consider that first and foremost, you got to make sure that you learn about personal finance. It is really simple education, and it's one that is easy digestible. Just commit yourself to learn regularly, just bit by bit. There's so many, podcasts that's out there, YouTube channels. There's a lot of free educational resources. My God, there's a lot of them, and we'll make that available as well too to share in our links. But there are so many free resources. It's just people fail to access them, or they're not motivated or driven to access them. And so, what I'm amazed at as a practicing professional is that there are so many of these programs on YouTube and the internet where they charge people to learn about personal finance, budgeting, and those things. Here's the thing, all of it, that whatever that they're doing for you, it's available for you for free. You're just not looking hard enough. It's there. There are great budgeting calculators. There are, every resource you can think of for you to manage your finances, and it's completely free. You don't have to pay anybody anything. I'm really good at being resourceful, and that's something that I discover, is that it's another skill set or knowledge that I have. So going back to this, so the knowledge and habit stacking model here is to get you to understand that personal education is first and foremost something that you have to learn, and you have to practice. The second thing to that is you got to learn how to pay yourself first. It's very simple, but people overlook it, and they don't study what that means. And to put it simply, what that means is that you're prioritizing yourself to be the very first thing that you spend on, which is on yourself, that you pay first, that you are the driver of your finances, that you are the best investment that you can make beyond anything else. And so the habit of paying yourself first is what? Do everything you can to, what I'm recommending is 10 to 20%. You can start with 5% and then elevate from there, but build a habit. The idea is not so much the high percentage or a specific percentage. It's the habit of doing it consistently. So whenever you make your paycheck, $100 or 10% or whatever it is goes into a savings account or into something that you can bank on, that you pay yourself first, that is there, it's yours, that you own, that you bank, right? It's in your own bank account. And that gives you confidence. It builds good habit. And it's about paying off debt as well too, because debt binds us to whatever that thing is, right? To something that we purchase, to something that we're obligated to. So it's important to reduce that liability, that responsibility. And obviously do it responsibly. We have a video that talks about good debt, bad debt, and how do you make that decision. So, but again, it's reducing any burden that you have by reducing, especially bad debt, right? But if you have debt that is because of your education, like you paid into a course that's gonna teach you something that you're gonna acquire a great skill, then it's all good. But again, just make sure you're conscious and mindful of what your debt is. And then at the same time, it's making sure part of the knowledge of paying yourself first is picking up the habit of spending wisely. And what I mean by wisely is understanding what's a want and what's a need, right? For example, a need is something that will help build your career or your future career. It's some skill set or something you have to learn. That's absolutely important. So that is definitely in a need category, not even just a want, but a need. But a want can just be like, let's just say something that it can be a want to, but you don't need to go beyond that. Like for example, a car. You don't need to get a car that's super fancy. You just need a car that can get you places. Or instead of buying brand new books or something, buy used books, right? Because again, whatever you save goes right to your bottom line. And the difference that you save, you can again invest that in other things, right? The time and don't forget there's a time factor too. So whatever time and money you save by being effective, efficient, and buying good things, you can channel that towards something else. So it's really, again, going back, like another want that I think a lot of people, it's like a need for them. They mistaken a want for a need. It's like going to like a coffee shop all the time to spoil yourself. It's like, you don't need that. Again, you need to come from a place where you need less external things, so you can focus more on the internal things, if that makes any sense. You don't need things to validate. You don't need outside things to validate you, right? You need to work on more of the, and those things are expensive anyways. You are the things that make the things that you have, right? It's wearing or having something doesn't define you, you define it, right? It's kind of like the idea that I think that people get caught up on, like John Wooden, the famous UCLA coach, said that to his players, like do not get caught up on your reputation, but focus on your character, something like that. Because character is who we are and reputation is what people think we are, right? So, and why do we need to concern ourselves with consumption where really our priority is ourself first, right? And being responsible and prioritizing ourself first. So there's a lot to learn there. And so that's a very important knowledge stack to add on in this particular order as well too. From my perspective, putting this model together, that's important for your development and to really increase your odds for your own personal financial success. And the next one is learning how to, or what it is to invest passively, right? So I think before learning how to invest actively, you have to learn how to invest passively. And what is that anyways, right? Learn about that, get that knowledge. And the habit of doing that is very simple. Like, and I'll give you one example, is investing passively, meaning you invest in something that you do not have to think about, that you do not have to tend to. You just let it do what it does. So for example, we all know that the stock market or the economy, by nature, it does what? It grows. It has to grow. I mean, look at the population of the world. It just continues to have more and more people, and our economy has to continue to grow. That's just the nature of it is. It can correct or crash or whatever you want to call it, adjust, but eventually it goes right back on its growth path. And so we need to, first and foremost, beyond paying ourselves, right, and investing ourselves, is that we got to invest in the market, right? We are part of this economy, right? The consumption economy. So why not benefit from that? So we got to buy into the market. And the easiest way to buy into the market are index funds. You probably heard of them, and you get it on your phones, right? On Yahoo Finance or whatever financial apps that you use on your phones. But they have the S&P 500, the Dow, the Russell, the NASDAQ, right? You can buy those indexes. And the indexes is a collection of companies that are the biggest, most influential companies in our lifetime that are growing, that are essential to our daily lives, and you can get a piece of all of that by investing passively in an index. So basically, passive investing is just buy into it and don't even think about it. Just religiously put money in. If your pattern is once a week, bi-weekly, monthly, quarterly, it doesn't matter, but do it consistently. It goes up, it goes down, it doesn't matter, you just invest. And by doing that alone, over time, you will see that you will also passively benefit from the growth of the economy, from the growth of everything that's around you that you see every day. So, and what are these index funds? I'll give them to you. The SPY, the SPY, you can Google this. SPY, the DIA, which is the Dow index that you can buy. The IWM and the QQQ, right, for example. I'm not endorsing any of this. Again, it's what I have too. It's important that you participate in the market by doing this. It's frictionless, it's very simple. If you can open up a checking account or open up or set up an email account, you can set up a brokerage account and do this. This is not about speculation. It's about passively just putting money in and forgetting about it and just letting it grow. As you grow yourself, you are participating in the economy. And then this leads me to the next point, which is on the knowledge stack, is stack on top of passively investing, learn how to actively invest. And what is actively investing? Is investing in something that you have to tend to. So for example, you and your friends are gonna start a side hustle. That's an active investment. Does that make sense? That means you have to put effort into it, you have to put time, you have to put sweat equity, you have to put money into it, you have to put your heart and soul into it. It's something that you have to tend to, that you have to, and that can be, I mean, a big part of that is obviously, your career, right? And then, or your side career as well too. Or active investments, like you bought a piece of real estate and you're gonna fix it up, or you bought a piece of real estate, you have a tenant in there, and now you're gonna be the property manager as well too, right? So it requires for you to tend to and be actively engaged in that investment. So that's another way, but that's much more advanced. That's one where you really have to work with a financial professional. The other one you don't need to. You just buy the index and set it, forget about it, and keep investing. It doesn't matter what it does. Because if you look back, again, when you invest passively, look at the stock market or look at the S&P 500 index, right? Even Warren Buffett, he said that, once he dies, he recommends his beneficiary to take the money and just buy the S&P 500. Period, done, invest in America, don't worry about it, and just watch it grow with the economy, right? So if somebody who's that successful, the greatest investor of our lifetime is saying that, well, you should really investigate, right? So again, going back, so investing passively and learn how to invest actively. So like for me is I have partnerships with other business partners. I do a lot of things that I'm actively involved in. That further builds my wealth. And of course, every knowledge stack that you add on top of another does what? It doubles, triple your odds of financial success. Because think about it, if you have good financial education, if you're paying yourself and you have good savings and saving again is about preparation too. When you have savings, you're very confident. So when there's an opportunity like the stock market corrects, when there's some correction happening, again, you can call it a correction, a crisis, whatever, don't let a good crisis go to waste. When there's an opportunity, right, that's where you can deploy your savings that you're saving up to invest. Or there's a job opportunity somewhere else. Thank God you have savings and you have your debt, you have control of your debt, that therefore you can take on that risk of investing something actively, right? So savings is the absolute foundation of being a great investor, being a great risk manager too, because it's hard to, when you're thinking about investing and you don't have your savings together and you have a lot of debt, and when you start to lose money in the market or whatever, you start to really lose it, emotionally, because you're thinking about, oh my God, how much debt I have, I cannot afford to pay the bills, I just blew all of my money in this whatever investment. So saving really centers you. So again, and then investing actively, going back to that, it's where you really can grow your wealth, and I guess you can grow yourself as well too. So one of the things to invest actively that I think it's a good start is acquiring new skills, right? And learning new skills, because those skills will stack on top of other skills you have, and it will make you very, very valuable in the marketplace. Because remember, you're always your best investment, right? So it's really important to understand that. And so to bring it all together, and by the way, like and then on top of that, you can stack something else on top, right? But these are the 4 things that I personally identified based on my experience and what's worked for me, are the knowledge and the habit stack that has really built my financial foundation, and how I'm able to build on top of that for my financial freedom. And again, it allows me to do this passion project. So this is a start of the capital stack, right? It's a model for you to build upon. It's not the absolute, this is not the idea. It's to empower you, to really get you to think differently about your finances, about your time, your money, and how do you better yourself? How do you make finance work for you? How do you be the driver of your finances, and how do you build a quality of life that you can, that you can look forward to, that you're excited about? So yeah, this model is one that, in my opinion, really kind of sums up a lot of the, kind of my personal journey. And I hope you share this with others and you find this to be beneficial. With that being said, thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.